Hi everybody, I'm meteorologist Roland Stedham. Let's talk a little bit about Hurricane Mellisa. This is going to go down in the record books as being one of the most intense hurricanes ever recorded in the Caribbean. You could see how well structured the eye was of the hurricane as it approached this little town right here of New Hope, Jamaica. Now, here's the key. It's not just New Hope, but it's the entire western half of the island of Jamaica that was impacted by this very intense hurricane. And now, as it's been interacting with the rugged terrain over Jamaica, the circulation has been disrupted, but we're going to see the emergence of an eye here once again in the not too distant future as the hurricane approaches eastern Cuba. So what I want to do is I want to give you an idea of what the central pressure was doing, because that's how we truly measure the intensity of hurricanes. Wind meters rarely survive winds above 125 miles per hour. So we correlate the intensity of the hurricane with the central pressure of the storm, and the central pressure of Hurricane Mellisa was 892 millibars at the time of landfall today. That ties for the third most intense hurricane ever recorded in the Caribbean, which matched the Great Labor Day hurricane of 1935, which generated a 25-foot storm surge over Marathon Key in the Florida Keys. The most intense hurricane ever was 882 millibars. Hurricane Wilma in 2005, 888 millibars was Gilbert. I remember that one so clearly in 1988, but again, Mellisa, the third most intense. It really doesn't matter because the winds between the top three, they're going to be top four, they're going to be so catastrophic that we're not going to be able to assess the true damage associated with Mellisa for probably a week or two before we finally get in and see what it did to the western half of the island. So let's talk about Mellissa's steering currents. At the time of this recording here, sustained winds 145 miles per hour, category 4, moving now to the northeast at 8 miles per hour. But what's steering Mellisa is a trough of low pressure along the eastern seaboard of the United States. That's going to protect the East Coast. I always call these troughs on the East Coast deflector shield, because hurricane cannot punch through a trough. It follows the steering currents and goes around the trough. And so that's why the system is going into eastern Cuba, then to the central Bahamas, and then maybe come close to the island of Bermuda. But it's going to be a concern because I know what's happened in western Jamaica. There's no ability to really get a handle on it as of yet, because they're still dealing and hunkered in for what the storm system is still producing there in the western part of that island nation. So that's the latest on Hurricane Mellisa. Not a good scenario. And I also have a son who went on a cruise and he said, "Dad, I want to go on a cruise, take a family on a cruise at the end of October." And I said, "Buddy, that's the second peak of the hurricane season." And he says, "Oh, come on, Dad, what are the chances?" And so he's hanging out here in the Bahamas right now, steering clear of Hurricane Mellisa. But yeah, October and September, the two busiest months for hurricanes in the Caribbean Ocean. 13 years of forecasting hurricanes has taught me a lot about what these storms are, the most powerful storms on the face of the earth. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll have the latest on CBS 2 News coming up tonight. In the meantime, have a great night. And again, thanks for checking in.